Where No Man Has Gone Before, the second pilot for Star Trek, the original series. It opens with a scene of James R. Kirk playing 3D chess with Spock. This is a good way of establishing that Kirk is a man of strategy and intellect.
Irritating. Ah, yes. One of your Earth emotions.
Spock belittles emotions and then promptly exhibits smugness and being crestfallen. They are interrupted by Proto Redshirt informing them that they have come across the logs of a destroyed Earth ship. Oh, don't mind me. I really just love the look of the Enterprise. Despite being a purist, I really do enjoy these CG scenes and the updated TOS. Back on the show, Kirk is perplexed about why an Earth ship has made it thus far, when the Enterprise was supposed to be there first. However, a Ford truck did make it 70,000 light years from Earth, so I suppose that this is small potatoes.
Jones?
Name's Smith, sir.
Kirk makes it to the bridge and mistakes the name of a random crew member. It brings to light that I don't think I ever remember seeing name tags in Star Trek, except for Discovery, which oddly felt like putting names on the back of the insignia. I'm not exactly sure how that's supposed to be better. Anyway, Spock reports that the Valiant destroyed herself after something went wrong. They then come across a massive energy barrier in space, possibly the one that damaged the Valiant. Kirk decides to fly over it, but since you can see that it's only so high. Wait, no, he flies into it. The ship remembers that it's the 4th of July and begins festivities.
All decks on fire alert. Neutralize controls. Kelso, put it on manual. Any radiation, anything? Negative.
Dr. Daner and Mr. Mitchell get shocked, and we find out that a few other crew members die as well. The Enterprise escapes from the damage, and Mitchell wakes up with tinfoil in his eyes. Kirk and Spock investigate the possibility of extrasensory perception being behind Mitchell's transformation. Kirk visits Mitchell in sickbay, and after establishing their rapport, Mitchell uses a god voice to threaten Kirk.
Didn't I say you'd better be good to me?
Kirk and Spock continue their voyeurism, but Mitchell doesn't seem to care.
I can see you, Kirk. Can you see me?
Dr. Daner visits Mitchell.
Hey, watch this, Doc.
Playing possum was only a ploy to get Dr. Daner into Mitchell's arms. His courting is interrupted by Proto Redshirt, who Mitchell explains the problem concerning the engines. Proto Redshirt reports this to Kirk and Spock, the latter of which notices Mitchell's growing power and says that either marooning him or killing him would be the safest course of action. Kirk is apprehensive. This is a longtime friend of his, but he begins to consider it. They confront Mitchell in sickbay, so Mitchell attacks them.
Stop it, Gary.
With the things I could do.
He then forgets he's a god and gets taken out by
Maybe
the
a god
dynamic
could
duo.
do.
Mitchell is in a holding cell and tries to break out. Contact with the force field seems to interrupt his powers, showing that Mitchell is really the same guy once he's back to normal. This raises the stakes for Kirk since he knows his friend is still there. Mitchell returns to God mode, predictably chokes out Proto Redshirt, and stuns Kirk and Spock, and then claims his bride by putting tinfoil in her eyes too. Kirk recovers and blows up the valley. Wait, no, he uses the ship to attack Mitchell. No, actually, he grabs a phaser to chase Mitchell. I think Kirk forgot Mitchell was a god. He tries to convince Daner to help him, but she refuses at first and all seems lost. Then she changes her mind and attacks Mitchell, disabling him. Kirk breaks out his Shatfu, patent pending. He then sends Mitchell to an early grave, and Daner dies from excitement. Spock takes his place as Kirk's new best friend, and they ride off into the starlight. Alright, now for my overview. The general notes. This is the best Star Trek pilot I've reviewed so far. Maybe because it's the only one. I give it an episode rating of 8. It's a solid episode, and some aspects could benefit from more time. The show is also still figuring itself out, which you could see when Spock was showing emotions during the match earlier. The pros. It establishes Kirk as a leader. He would sacrifice his friend to save the crew, although apprehensively because he's affected by the weight of the decision. He still gave Mitchell a chance, even at the risk of everyone's lives. But you don't just write someone off, especially when you see that they could be the same person once the powers are removed. Cons. Not enough time was used to establish Kirk and Mitchell. You don't feel the friendship as much because you only saw them in this one episode. Then again, this was only the first episode, so there wasn't much rapport to build. Mitchell's God complex could take longer. It could have been that Mitchell could have developed a slow apathy towards humans, sort of like Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen. I understand, because this is a 50-minute episode. However, if it could have played out over 1 or 2 episodes, such as in modern day, maybe the weight could have been felt a little bit more. And it's not really a con, but yeah, the show is still working on its continuity. Spock is obviously a work in progress. I hope you enjoyed this review, and please let me know, and I'll be definitely doing more in the future.